Hi gorgeous, it's Sabrina here. Welcome to the first video in my new series, Transforming Into. This is a character transformation series and I'm going to be showing you how to do your makeup and your hair to transform into a specific character. And these characters can come from anywhere. They can be cartoon characters, they can be sitcom characters, public figures, you name it. Anything goes. And to keep these videos interesting and differentiate them from what other people are doing out here on YouTube, I'm also going to be providing fun facts and insights about the character throughout the video. And I couldn't think of a better character to start this video off with, or the series off with, than Ginger from Gilligan's Island.
Before jumping into the makeup tutorial portion of this video tutorial, I'm first applying a moisturizer onto my face. And I'm also going to apply my primers, beginning with an eyeshadow primer from Urban Decay. And to help cover up my pores, I am applying Benefit's Porefessional onto the areas where I feel like my pores are just way too huge. This stuff covers them up instantly. And finally, before we begin on the eyes, I'm applying a primer onto my face, just on the T-zone area. This is Makeup Forever's HD Primer. And now we're ready for the eyeshadow application. Very first eyeshadow I'm taking is MAC's Blanc Type, and I'm applying this lightly onto the brows, and this is going to help with blending in the look. Next up is MAC's Copperplate, and this eyeshadow has been dropped a couple times, unfortunately, but it's still good. I'm applying this lightly into the crease with a brush from Sigma. This is their E30 pencil brush, and I'm using this eyeshadow to really define the crease. As I studied the pictures of Ginger, I noticed she had a lot of definition in the crease, and it was more of a gray toned eyeshadow that she did use. I'm taking a little bit more Copperplate onto the tips of the MAC 286 brush and using this to blend along the edges where we've already deposited Copperplate into the crease. And to help diffuse those edges further, I'm going in with MAC's Kid eyeshadow, still using the MAC 286 brush, and using this to diffuse the edges even more of Copperplate and blend it up towards the brow bone. A little bit goes a long way here. You can see I'm not using a whole lot of Kid. I just want enough to blend out the edges of Copperplate. Then I'm taking MAC Shroom, which is a dirty white eyeshadow, and applying this onto the lids. Now, unfortunately, this eyeshadow is way more pigmented than what I wanted on the eyes. So, to help tone that down a little bit and get more of a natural look on the lids, I went back with the 286 brush again and blended over that eyeshadow on the lid to help lighten it up and give it more of a sheer effect. Then I'm taking MAC's Handwritten and using this to line the lower lash line, and you want a thin line here. Ginger did have definition on the lower lash line, but it was very subtle. And the liquid eyeliner I'm using comes from Stila. This is their Stay All Day liquid eyeliner, and if you remember the video that I did on the 60s, then you'll remember that they had a lot of heavy emphasis on the lash line. And the character of Ginger wasn't any different because this sitcom did take place in the 60s. So a lot of the makeup trends that were present at that time were very much so present in Ginger's look. And so she had a really thick, heavy line on the upper lash line, and she also had a small wing on the outer corner. You can make the wing as dramatic as you want. I kept it rather short in this look, but you can go a little bit more dramatic since they were a little bit more flamboyant about it in this time period. I also noticed that there was a white eyeliner used on Ginger's waterline in some of the pictures I was looking at, so I'm adding that detail here with NYX's Jumbo Pencil in Milk. And I'm filling in the brows lightly with NYX's Tame and Frame Brow Pomade. Ginger's eyebrows were rather thin. They weren't overdrawn or thick by any means, so I'm keeping them very thin, as my natural brows already are. Thankfully, Ginger was no stranger to false eyelashes, and she wore them quite frequently. There wasn't one picture I could find where she didn't have some kind of false eyelash on, and they were always very big and dramatic. So I'm taking a pair from inkyminky.com. These are in the style Take No Prisoners, and they are very loud and very dramatic, very Ginger-esque. And to get that flawless complexion that Ginger had for that movie star-like quality, I'm first applying a color corrector. This is a yellow concealer to help combat the purple dark circles that I have underneath my eyes. And then I'm going over that with my regular concealer. This is from LA Girl. It is their HD Pro concealer, blending that in. And then I'm applying my foundation from Ellis Faas in the shade S101, blending that into the skin also. And then I'm setting the T-zone only with a little bit of translucent powder. Ginger had a lot of contour going on, so we're going to do some of that with a bronzer from Rimmel. This is their number 21 Sunlight Bronzer. I'm taking the Sigma F40 contour brush and contouring out the hollows of my cheeks. I'm also going to use this down the sides of the nose. And her contour was rather heavy in some pictures that I could see, so I'm not going to be light-handed with it like I normally would be. I'm applying it more liberally. For the cheeks, I'm adding a light pink blush. This comes from the Sephora Pantone Color of the Year from last year. Now, if you study Ginger's lips, you'll notice that she has more of like a coral pink lipstick in many of her pictures. And while I don't have a lipstick that is exactly this type of color, I decided to mix two different MAC lipsticks together to create this kind of a color. And so I've used MAC's Costa Chic here, or Costa Chic, however you want to say that, combined up with MAC's Creme de Nude, blended those together, and I feel like this gets me really close to the shade that she had on in a lot of her pictures. Plus, it's a beautiful shade on its own. I would wear these two colors together on a regular basis, and I'm actually really glad that I discovered them. And to get that pout that Ginger had, I'm going back with a gloss from Laura Mercier and applying this onto the center of the bottom lip as well as the center of the top lip. Very popular beauty trick, especially for movie stars. And don't forget the beauty mark. I'm using MAC's Teddy eyeliner pencil to draw the beauty mark onto my face. And Tina Louise, the woman who played Ginger, actually did have a beauty mark on her face. It was not drawn in just for the character. So while I don't have the short hair that Ginger had in a lot of the episodes that she was in, I'm going to work with what I have. So I'm taking a flat iron. This is from Irresistible Me, and if you're interested in this, I will have it linked for you down below. And I'm using this to not only straighten my hair, but also curl the ends outwards to get that 60s flip. And I'm not over exaggerating it, because if you look at the picture that inspired this look, her hair was flipped outwards on the end, but it wasn't like Brady Bunch flipped out. Not overly exaggerated. And to get those sexy, popular Ginger bangs, I'm adding a clip in because I did not want to cut my hair for this tutorial. Great way to try a new hairstyle without having to fully commit. Gotta love that.